What up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. This is HUD Wednesday nights. We got a lot to go over. Tobias Harris thinks out loud. Bryce Harper makes his spring training debut. And then we're going to talk, obviously, about a contract extension with 8 years left. Come join us.
I mean, how silly is that, man? We're talking about practice.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin.
Welcome in, everybody. This is HUD Wednesday nights, only on HUD Radio. Every Wednesday, we are brought to you by our good friends over at Baggio's Bread, located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Home of the best stuffed bread, tomato pies, sandwiches, cutlets, meatballs, you name it. Mention HUD Radio, get 10% off. As always, Pete Young, Noah Eaton, Greg Mwakovic, Luke Brown. I'm Tom Arnone, everybody out there. Welcome in. We got a jam-packed show in store for you. Tobias Harris said when we started, continues to stink, continues to not have any type of aggression. We'll get into him later on in the show. Harper, spring training debut, him, I think JT, Bohmer, a couple guys first times out there, and a couple guys look like they played pretty well. So just nice to have baseball, air quote, back. All right, but the big topic at hand, not only is it the 5-year anniversary of the signing of Bryce Harper, but the 5-year anniversary of the signing of Bryce Harper, we're now talking about signing him for longer. And that's our poll question tonight. You think Bryce Harper deserves a contract extension from the Phillies? Agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, that's where we're live. Everywhere you get your podcast, we're there as well. Hit the like, subscribe, follow. Most importantly, join the conversation tonight. Let us know what you're thinking. I know there's a lot of posters out there. I know how this works. I know how this Wednesday night's going to work. I didn't even know this was a damn poll, to be completely honest with you. I had no idea. I thought we were going to talk, Greg, about the impact of, like when I left today, I thought we were leaning towards the impact he's had over these 5 years and what this signing really meant for the Philadelphia Phillies.
And it all ties in together.
I
think it all ties in together.
How the heck does a guy with 8 years left on his deal
tie in the impact of what he's done this first 5 years impacts whether you're going to extend him with 8 years left in the deal.
2 words for you, Scott Boras.
The money man.
You guys are out of your minds if you're like, if we need to like have a contract talk extension with 8 years left on a deal. Like, I think people are downright out of their minds. Did we win a title? I'm sorry. Did we win it? Did we win a World Series here for Scott Boras and his representatives that actually have the audacity and the balls to have this conversation with 8 years left? You want to talk to me like 5? Start having those conversations? Sure. Want to be a Philly for life. You're here for another 8 years. I love Bryce Harper. I don't want Bryce Harper not to be here, but why going into a season do I need to have talks about a contract extension and listen to dryer sheets on the damn radio trying to tell me, well, this is good for your clubhouse? The conversation to begin with isn't good for my clubhouse. That's what his representatives put out. So I was coming on here on a Harper Love parade tonight. I was on the float. I was on the Harper Love float tonight until Greg wants to shift my ass and then talk to me about extensions tonight for a guy with 8 years left on his deal. What are we talking about? I love Bryce Harper, and there's going to be people in the comments that are going to fire at me. We're 8 years. What have you, with all due respect, you want an MVP, all right? You want an NLCS, but the end goal has not been delivered. So why the conversation today? And why would you even have a conversation leading into a season about your star player with 8 years left? I can love Bryce Harper. He can be like my brother. He's sitting in the locker next to me. I say, Bryce, what's Scotty doing? You got 8 years left. I should be talking about contract extensions, not you. Not you. You shouldn't be having contract extensions. You got 8 years left. What are you going to worry about right now? You got 27 guys in the damn locker room on a 1-year deal. We're talking about a guy with 8 years, per se. With all due respect to the great Bryce Harper, I'm going to ask you nicely to leave my office. And if that makes you do whatever you want to do, then be my guest. With all due respect. Listen, Bryce, Talk to me another 2 years, babe. Actually, play 162 and then talk to me in 2 years. I'll just drop it. I love Harper. Let me make it clear again. That's my dude. He's a stud. I'm so happy he signed here 5 years ago. It changed the culture of Philadelphia baseball. It made it a destination to play for the Philadelphia Phillies. I'm going to say it again. If my son knows what 8 is, there's a lot of numbers left on a deal. And if you guys want to talk to me about outperforming a deal, it's going to get ugly tonight. So I disagree. Like, I agree he deserves an extension because he's a great player, but he doesn't deserve an extension with 8 years left on a deal. On a deal. What are we talking about? First guy in history, like 8 years left. Hey. What are we talking? What? I'm done. There's my rant. What up, fam? I see you guys all out there. Zach, Daly, Martian, Dynasty, Donnie in the house, Johnny Malmos, BH Queen, Cotton Ball, Star Wars. We'll talk to all of you. So, good. Go ahead, Luke.
I'll go. I agree with you to the point where I'm definitely not approaching him. There's no chance of that happening. But I disagree where in the world where he comes in my office, I'm giving it to him 100%, like no doubt. And I'm only giving it to him because I think there are certain guys, I call them like blank check guys, and they might not even win anything in any league that they're in. But there are certain guys, including a guy who was 21 for the Sixers, that still hasn't won anything, hasn't even gotten past the second round. I consider a blank check guy to his organization to say whatever you want. Because the other thing on top of it is, and I get it, Philly's a big market, cool. Same time, they're not getting guys like Schwarber, Castellanos, and these guys unless they go out and make a big-time move to bring in Bryce Harper. So with no Bryce Harper, none of this is going on. And I feel like when that guy walks into your room, you have to do it. Because if you get rid of him, you're setting yourself up for years on end to then get a guy like him again. So if I have him in my building, I don't want to do it, but if that's what he wants, I'm going to do it. Because I also know in different league, I have a feeling when a guy like Dak Prescott gets paid a lot of money, you're going to start seeing guys like Mahomes and maybe a Burrow, and these guys want to redo their contracts again, rearrange their contracts again. I think it's going to happen all over sports. So I agree, but I definitely see where you're coming from.
All right. Greg?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree. But I'm with you. I like Luke said, I'm not pressing the envelope.
You came in hot there. You came in like, oh, absolutely.
But you also have to remember, too, John Middleton said on the field in 2022, I underpaid you, right? So he kind of set that precedence during the, and I get it. We're celebrating going to a World Series, emotions, and a lot of things are said at that time, right? But John Middleton himself said that I underpaid you. So you knew at the first chance of getting an opportunity to extend, Boris and Bryce were going to bring it up. And in reality, his annual value, because of when he signed the deal, is 24th right now.
And
he's outperformed that for sure.
And
right. So I understand where the conversation happens, and I do believe he deserves it 100%. But maybe if I'm the Phillies, I'm saying, all right, fine, we can talk extension, but let's front load this. Kind of like what we mentioned either last week or the week before that. Let's front load this so at least when you're over 40, we're not hammered with $30 million at the end of the deal if we just flat out extend you over the period of time, right? But he's moving to a new position, and let's hope he plays 162 because, Tommy, you're 100% right. Hell, I'll take 150, right? You know what I mean? You're 100% right. He's got to stay on the field because when he is, he's proven here that he's a monster. And I equate his signing, like Luke said, I equate it to the Jim Thome signing that the Phillies did when they were getting ready to open Citizens Bank Park, right? You need to go out and you needed to get a marquee player. They went out, they got him, and he kind of started that trend and started that cycle that led to our run at the late 2000s. And this is kind of what Harper has done here with us. After coming out of our dead period, he brought this place back to being a destination and everything. So, of course, I agree.
Yeah, I think I think we're being a little fanboy. And like Tony's my guy. Tony, I love you, but like, why would I not? Why do I need to? It's not why would I not. It's why do I need to? What are you gonna do? You gonna throw a hissy fit with 8 years left? And you can also do this handshake agreement stuff too, right? Like you can have a little verbal, but at the end of the day, like, come on, man. It's not like there's like 3 years left on a deal or something. Like that's insanity to me. But that's
I agree with you there. I 100% think it's insanity, but I think it's to Luke's point, right? Every time a new quarterback signs a new deal, Mahomes is getting restructured. You know what I mean? To make sure that he's the top dog.
Yeah.
No, and I get that side of it, right? But it's 8 years. Right? Like that's my issue with it. It's not like a 4-year deal left on your deal and you want to restructure that. Or a 2-year deal. Like there's time and place for things. And I think that's what we're missing. And we're getting blinded and we get our blinders on when we love guys. I'm here to not get blinders on. I'm here to keep it real. He's my dude. That's my dude. I want to go to war for him. If he came in with a baseball bat, I'd probably give him the deal. But if he ain't coming in taking a swing at me, I'm saying, dude, we'll talk, man. Like we'll talk. Like we don't gotta do this yet. We don't have to have this conversation right now. That's not my problem that your annual value is 24th in baseball. It's not our problem. Like we'll make it right. So we'll back pay at some point, down the road. Yeah. But we don't have to have that conversation right now. I think it's ridiculous that it's even a topic. Not for us, just like it became when it hit news. I was like, wait, who's punk? Like, what's this? April Fools? Go ahead, PY.
Yeah, so like at this point in time, like it's a little ridiculous. Like I get he's 5 years in, but at the same time with it, like it's a Scott Boras client. Like you knew he was going to try and pull this crap. Like this is what he does. Like he wants to do everything humanly possible to get his guys paid. But on the other side of it, like when we got Harper, I was ecstatic. And this is coming from someone who was not the biggest Bryce Harper guy. Like he made me fall in love with him as a player, as a person. Like that's big to me. Like going out of your way to ingrain yourself in the city or to pander the way Bryce Harper is it's phenomenal. He's also
it's MVP. More like it.
Yeah, he is a pandering machine. Like he's won MVP. He's gone to the World Series. We've won the NLCS before. Like we went to the NLCS last year. Like I understand why he would kind of want an extension. Like it's a little bit ridiculous, the timing of it after only 5 years, but he is underpaid. Everyone and their mother knows that Bryce Harper is underpaid. Also, Manny Machado just redid his deal because he had an opt-out. And if I'm Bryce Harper, I'm looking at that and being like, well, I could have had that opt-out in there, and I could have let every free agent know I have a chance to not be here. This is showing my commitment. This is showing how locked into this team I am. And as opposed to like what Greg was saying is like a lot of guys have come here because of Bryce Harper. It's not just what he does on the field. It's what he does off the field. It's your Kyle Schwarber. It's your Trey Turner. It's your Nick Castellanos. It's all the other guys who have come here to basically just play baseball with Bryce Harper. Like it's not just his production on the field. Because obviously I want him there for all 162. Like the injury stuff, it is a concern as of right now. He is learning first base. We don't know how that's gonna look long term. So I understand like all the things that are going against him right now to give the extension, but I can't ignore all the extra things he's giving me, along with being a top 5 kind of player in baseball.
Yeah, this isn't like, again, he's done a ton for this organization in his run, right? Nobody's questioning that. And like with Tony's thing is like, I'm not questioning that he has to do it. Like, the point is, this was brought to my desk and I'm answering it like, why? Like, I don't care enough. Like, whatever you want to do, it doesn't affect me, right? Like, you want to be here. We know you want to be here. Okay. Like, if they do a deal, want them to extend them, that's on them, right? I'm not going to throw a hissy fit about what we're paying a guy when he's 40, 41, and 42 or 43, right? I'm not going to get all upset about that. I just think it's stupid to even like that. It's like it became like a Twitter topic, and it became like where beat writers were really and big time shows were really having conversations about it. That's like where it irks me because we're making it bigger than it is, and now we're putting it out there like, oh, he asked for a contract extension with 8 years left. To a normal human being, you say, why? What'd he do? That's all. It's not like I don't care because I love the guy. I'm not trying to pay guys over 40 from a guy who's 41 now, and I can tell you what happens a little bit. Okay, but not trying to pay guys over 40. But at the end of the day, like I get it. If there's a guy that I would, it would be him. But with like we'll see. I mean, we're talking like, yeah, I know he got hit in the face and stuff, but like torn his UCL. like, I mean, I have no problem paying him more money, but he's getting paid. It's not we act like guys are getting paid like guys get paid $100,000 a year. Yeah, like getting paid. What's he at right there? What's he getting paid this year?
25.5, like
25 and a half.
Yeah.
Well, I'll take a cut of that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Be nice.
Look, I mean, let's face it. This is where we're heading in sports these days. I mean, a lot of me says, "What the fuck? You have 8 years left. Let's worry about it in 6 years." I mean, what the fuck? You're making what 30 million, whatever million a year. Jesus Christ! But yeah, that part chaps my ass. But this is where we're at. This is where we're at, guys. Nobody. I don't want to say nobody honors their contract anymore, but everybody. Anytime a big free agent deal goes down, like say Shohei this offseason with the Dodgers, all of a sudden you have all the other stars that want to run back to the bargaining table to get theirs, and it's going to continue to happen. This is not going away. As far as Bryce goes, obviously from Bedlam at the bank to all, in the 2022 NLCS over the, to help seal the deal over the Padres to, all the free agents he helped bring here to Philadelphia and to help revive what was kind of a dead period. We had that 5-year run from 07 to 11. And let's face it, we didn't do a hell of a lot for almost 10 fucking years. So then to bring Harper into town and, he's helped resurrect this franchise back to where, we should be. I don't know. I'm a little torn here. I mean, hey, Bryce, can we talk in 6 fucking years? Jesus. But, of course, we know what Scott Boras is going to say, right? I know I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth here. I get it. But
because that's what this is, Noah. That's what this is. Like it's I get both sides of it. And Tony, the only reason we're talking about it is because Greg threw me a curveball. I was expecting to talk about the impact, and we're going to talk about the impact of the signing Bryce Harper 5 years ago. You put something in front of my desk, Tone, I talk about it. We're talkers. You know what I mean? That's how it works. I got it in front of my desk. I don't really give a shit. Do whatever you want with them. Like I said it early on. Did he deserve it? Sure. Why are we having a conversation? Unsure, but okay. Like I think 8's a long time. 8's a long time. Like
I don't
5 years left.
I'm sorry. I don't blame Bryce for this. I think it's on Boras. But, he's going to do what he's going to do. It's what Boras has done his entire career. Remember the J.D. Drew fiasco?
Yeah.
I mean, shit, all them years ago.
Batteries not included.
Huh?
I said batteries not included.
Yeah, exactly. So, no wonder why they were fucking throwing Norelcos at him at the vet.
Yeah, they were. But no, I mean, like, listen, his impact, of course. His impact, of course. Like, you want to keep the guy here forever? I mean, so do I, right? Like, nobody's trying to get rid of him. But what's his contract at now? 39?
39.
39, right? So, like,
in 2031, yeah.
We act like it's ending at like 35. Like, I know, medicine's even going to be better.
I'll be
Everybody
lucky
gets it.
if I'm alive in 2039. What the fuck?
Yeah, like that's why I don't care. Like, do whatever you want, Middleton. You're not
We'll
going
get
to
a
be here,
Bobby
probably.
Vanilla thing going for him. It's all good. We got
I
Bryce
got
Harper
no-
in like 2050.
You're right, Pete. You're right, because like I don't care about that. As a fan, that doesn't allow me to not spend money. Right? Like at that period of time, like the Bonilla deal, the Scherzer deal in Washington, not in Washington, not the Scherzer,
Strasburg.
the Strasburg deal in Washington. You see it all over the place. I have no problem with that. Like you want to back end money as a thank you, but I don't know why we're kissing asses. That's all my point is. So you want to talk about the impact in 5 years? Of course, this guy made baseball exciting again in the city of Philadelphia, and then it was easier to sign guys here.
Yep.
And I say all that, and we've done some really, almost really special things here in this time period. But we've not won the whole thing. I know it's not easy. So he's changed his franchise. If anybody questions that, they just haven't paid attention to it. But he's done that one thing. But then on the other side, like we're better. We're exciting team to watch. People love seeing us in the postseason, obviously. It's great for ratings. But we haven't got that trip down Broad Street. That's all. Like if that trip down Broad Street happened in one of these last 2 years, and you want to talk to me now about backloading a ton of money for me down the road, a little retirement fund, all right, Johnny Middleton, then like, okay, I get it. I'm open. How much you want? You just want the card? Take the black card. Take the black card. But it didn't happen yet. That's all. And it's not like I'm not like anti-Harper because this conversation is being had. I'm anti-Boris always. I just don't like.
You should be.
Tony, if Tony can't understand this out there, and I'll give him a mic on Wednesday. If you can't understand out there, and you're a smart dude, I know you are. You've coached, you understand this stuff. You just putting that out there is just weird to me as a guy who's played sports, right? Shared locker rooms with guys. Like that's awkward to me. It's like, wait, what? But then I also get it. So I don't know. Can it divide a locker room? Probably not. I highly doubt it. But it's a good.
Let's win a chip and talk in November.
Now, if you don't, if you don't pay him, if you don't give it to him yet, does it create a problem? And what problem does it create? But tell me about the impact you guys believe. Let's stay on topic here. The impact you guys believe over the last 5 years that he's done, and just you give him a little, you gave him a little hand job here. We're giving Bryce. Hey, Bryce, ski poles are out. That's what we're doing tonight for Bryce Harper.
Well, to real quick, Tommy, to your point though, I think a different locker room it does fracture it, right? But I think this locker room is really good, and they're really cohesive. So I don't know that it necessarily does. Even bringing it up, right? Because I think you're spot on in a sense of bringing it up this early in certain locker rooms probably doesn't sit well with guys, right? But he's been quoted. I read a couple of things today. He's been quoted at even though this is going on, he's still talking about knowing that Zach Wheeler's got to get signed, right?
Okay.
Knowing that other stuff still has to happen, even while having this conversation, right? So. When you look at his impact, like I said, I bring up the Jim Thome signing as a very similar one in kind of a refreshing rebrand to this team, right? Phillies were coming out, getting ready to go into CBP, needed a splash because that team opening up was hard, right? And then you bring in Jim Thome, you bring in the guys like Aaron Rowan, right? You sign some really high-end or mid-level Philly-type guys to kind of usher in the new ballpark. And now we roll over to Bryce Harper, brings in a refreshing, doesn't start off the greatest, right? Doesn't start off great, but the team wasn't very good. And then he starts the wheels in motion to get this team where it is. And I think that home run against the Padres to clinch that game is probably the moment of his tenure here right now.
Absolutely.
In the rain, Oppo Taco with that moment. Oh, that's got to be
that one, and obviously the one Arcia.
Yeah.
Right. That's a huge moment too. Obviously,
Yeah.
we didn't win an NLCS by doing that. So it always puts it puts the Padres one up a notch too. Because that was like there was like something something in the air that night. You could just feel it. You could feel it in your loins that it was coming. You know, you're like, this is like the wedding. Now, like everything about it. Like, dude, is he a prime time type of cat you want in your lineup? That's a freaking lutely. So, like, he like PY said it best, and that's I'm surprised I didn't start with that on how like I was taught to hate Bryce Harper. Yep. Right, I'm a Philadelphia Phillies fan. I was taught to hate Bryce Harper. He played for a team in our division. I thought he was a punk, right? You thought all these things about him. I can't love a guy more. That's all. Like a PY said it better. I couldn't love a guy more. Like if you rank the top athlete I love most in this city, outside of my son Joel Embiid, it's always going to be Bryce Harper right now.
He might be one around this city too, because I love Joel.
I think it's a toss-up between him and Jalen.
Yeah, and Joel hasn't, he's been criticized for his performances in the playoffs. He hasn't had that one game, that one moment yet, and Bryce has had a couple, it seems, already in 5 years. So I think he might even be one, if that's how you want to guide the conversation. I think he might be one in the city. If you talk to a wide range of people in Philadelphia, probably.
I would think so too. The Jalen. I mean, listen, Jalen has his poster boys. We're not going to get into Jalen tonight, but he has his poster boys as well.
I wouldn't consider him as a favorite, though.
I don't think there's any comparison. I personally don't think there's any comparison. I mean, you're talking about a superstar in a sport and a guy who's good. Big difference.
Yeah.
Big difference. One guy's top 10 player in baseball, in my opinion, and the other guy is not. Yeah. He's not a top 10 player in football. That's no disrespect. Here it comes. I can feel it in people. I'm like just smacking me. Like, what did you say? How dare you say that, Tom? You're right. But what do you guys say? What do you guys why? Noah, everybody, just deliver some moments and just the change in this organization, and what do you guys think the future holds with it too? Without obviously we have to give him extension and pay him till he's 55, but besides that, what do you guys say?
Well, we'll get him with the nice AARP card. It's all good. He can get like half price off at movies. It's all good. Like my whole thing with Bryce Harper is like, I still remember doing a show years ago where I talked to someone about Bryce, and I'm like, he's just gonna go off. He's gonna be a Yankee. He's gonna be like the most hated person to ever live, and he's gonna like ruin his career in New York, and it's just gonna be beautiful to watch. And then you're like, wait a minute, we can actually get him. Like he legitimately wants to come here. And like the closer you got, you're just like, is this legit happening? I still remember being in a freaking Taco Bell when someone's like, we got Bryce Harper. It's like,
what'd you order?
A real moment. It's one of those moments where like you will remember where you were when this happened for the rest of your life.
So what'd you order? What'd you order?
You're on Twitter, you're in a stupid Taco Bell or like wherever you are. Like you're gonna remember where you are when they signed Bryce Harper. It was a game-changing moment.
All right, so did you get a chalupa?
Yeah, what did you order?
For the third
tacos, man. So, like, literally, like, who was your big name signing prior to Bryce Harper? Like, who's your game changing person? The dude from the Cubs whose name is escaping me.
Dude from the Cubs.
The pitcher that they overpaid.
Who, Arrieta?
Yes, that's who.
Oh yeah, that
Arrieta. Like that's what we had to do. We had to overpay dudes because nobody wanted to come here because of how bad we were. Couldn't draft anyone. Weren't really great at trades. Well, when you bring in Bryce Harper, you have guys who want to come here. JT Realmuto wanted to be traded here. Trey Turner wanted to come hang out with his best friend, Kyle Schwarber. Nick Castellanos, like guys want to play here because they want to play with Bryce Harper. And obviously, the LeBron-esque GMing thing with him doesn't always work out, but we've gone to a World Series with it. We went to an NLCS with it. Like the proof is in the pudding. Like obviously we still have to win the World Series. That needs to happen. But where we are right now, like we were not there without Bryce Harper.
Man, you brought up a bad memory. Jake fucking Arrieta. Oh, God.
Yeah, Arietta doesn't bother me like that. I didn't think he had anything left in the tank anyway.
Hey, now I hear you, but he was just an asshole. I don't know. It seemed like
he was a weird guy.
every time he got hit around, there was some type of excuse of, well, the outfielder wasn't positioned correctly. No, motherfucker. The dude at bat lasered one in the gap, all right? You just suck. You're a tomato can. Oh, yeah, what the fuck? Enjoy your retirement. Christ. Anyway, look, Harper, I mean, ditto to what Pete said. I mean, where would we be without him? I mean, don't get me wrong. As far as the extension goes, that can wait, but whatever. We said our piece with that.
Nobody knows where. We can't do this, right? We're not gonna do like where are we? Where will we be without him? Nobody's got a goddamn crystal ball to that, right? Like nobody's going, let's time machine this. Let's go back to the future. Let's like see what happens if we didn't sign him. Like you don't bend over. You do not bend over organizationally over like if that's conversated during like a negotiation. Like where would you be without me? Like,
I hear
let's
you.
not do that.
No, I know.
Right?
I mean, look, you have to have players around him. He helped bring some of those players here, yes.
Absolutely.
But you have to have pitching. You have to have defense. You have 25 guys make a team, and I understand that.
All right, well, listen. If you're just joining us, hit the like, subscribe, follow, turn your alerts on, and join the conversation. Talking Bryce Harper right now. We talked a little bit early on, a lot early on about, does he deserve the contract extension? Deserve and should are a little different in this situation, right?
Yes.
But like, it's weird. It's a weird situation, but like, I don't care. I hope he gets whatever he gets as long as you're performing for me and you win me a World Series. I'll have no problem with it, right? But the end goal has to be won here for the Philadelphia Phillies. When we talk about signing this guy 5 years ago, it was not to just go to NLCSs. It was not just to be like, oh, cool, we're a playoff team again, and we're really, really competitive. It was to compete with the likes of the Dodgers, the Yankees, and any other big money spending organization out there that's willing to drop money without an issue. And that's where John Middleton came in. And that's where John Middleton talked about stupid money. And we've done a lot of that, right? Not stupid, but we spent money. But, we need other things too. When you look at what the Dodgers have done, right? And I think we've drafted better. But do you guys feel like this team's going to win a World Series within the next 2 years? Because that window, just to give you guys a news flash, ain't open till 44.
Nope.
No.
Yeah, no, you're right. We ain't going to, well, who knows? No, but we're ain't winning that late. I do think that within the next 2-3 years, yeah, I do think we get back to Broad Street early November for a brisk parade party. I do. I think they're one of the best positioned teams in this city, right? Ready to take that next step and hoist a trophy. And when you lock a guy up like Nola and you expect to knock a guy up like Wheeler, your 1-2 punch is going to be there for a while or for the next couple of years. So yeah, I do think they hoist it within the next few years.
Totally.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Within the next 3 years, because not only do you have great hitters on this team, not only do you have a good pitching staff, you have a solid bullpen. You have, for the first time in forever, a farm system. Not just a okay farm system. You have a top 10 farm system, in my opinion. Like, you have players to where you could develop them, or you could trade them to go get that next piece that's going to help you to win that World Series. Like, which is something that we have not had in a long time. Like, we were able to go out and sign the guys, which is great. But if you don't have that backup plan in case option A or B fail, you're in trouble, which they kind of finally have.
Yeah, I mean, by the time Zach Wheeler starts getting a little up there in age, and I say a little, I mean, Andrew Painter may be ready to step into this rotation if he fully recovers from his injury. I mean,
Be nice.
yeah. I mean, we got some definite possibilities down the road there. Maybe a Mick Abel enters your rotation in a couple years. But yeah, I mean, there's the future is bright, but the window is still wide open for now. But we've seen it shrink fast around here. So hopefully we can take advantage of our opportunity and play some great baseball. Let's not forget. I mean, I'm speaking in more general terms. Look at all the success the Eagles have had over the last 20 years or so. Look at all this, look at large in part the Phillies' success by and large the last, 15 to 17 years. It's no secret that the city of Philadelphia, I just read an article, they're putting a $2.5 billion reinvestment project into South Philadelphia. You think that's happening if the Phillies and Eagles weren't successful? You know what I mean? They all of a sudden want to put a hotel down there now and a music venue and God knows what else. But would that really be happening if the Eagles and Phillies sucked every year? Probably not. So winning draws a crowd, obviously, and it's gonna help.
All.
Yeah, it'll be because of it. They're going to be reinvesting into that part of Philadelphia.
What up, Murph? Mike Murphy chimes in. Want to extend Bryce 2 to 3 years? I'm in. Extending him until he's 45 is a big ask. He's a dynamic athlete, but not many baseball players are productive in their mid-40s. That's the point. Like, you want to give him like 2 more years to 41, and now he knows he gets another, however you want to do it, right? However it works, and nobody cares. But, you start extending like 5 years onto the deal, that's absurd. I was just like, all right, now you're really stupid money. You said it. I didn't think you were serious. That's all. I was like, you're going to be paying a guy after. Just give him a ton of money then at 40 and 41, right? Just up his annual value. Pay him $40 million or give him $100 million total. Whatever you want to do. Like, you know what I mean? Pay him $50 million a year at 40 and 41. That's smart business. That's not right. Do that then. Right? And you're good. Or you guys talk about how you restructure the contract and build it in, and then you can give him some money now. You can up his annual value now, and you can work things out throughout the deal, and then just extend some money. That's it. So it's pretty basic stuff. 8 years out. Yes, and Andrew Painter is 6'7".
It's a big dude.
In Star Wars, yes, Noel will retire once his contract's up. He'll be pretty old.
Contract.
I don't know. I don't know. You guys all agreed to that. You guys were all pretty quick on. Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that scared me.
When they went around, I was with you. I'm like, all right, I'm going to disagree.
I really thought I was going to be like, yeah, agree. I think they can get it done. And then you guys all were like, yeah, absolutely. Didn't even second guess yourselves. And I was like, all right, that's not good. I mean, it's so hard to win it too. It's hard to win it, right? It's hard. You need some things to go right for you too.
Yeah,
they better.
Yes,
they better. I'll agree though. I'll go agree. I'll just join the wagon. I'll join the parade so Tom doesn't get called a hater or anything because I love my Phillies. So, but it's hard. It's hard. It's a big ask, but it's a doable ask. Right? It absolutely is.
With the money they're paying.
Yeah, are they top 10 farm system in the OPY though?
I think it's trending.
Or does it feel top 10 to you because we actually have some players?
I really like the depth of the system. I think there are a lot of guys that other teams would love to have.
Well, you talk about that depth, and I was looking at some things today. There's a good old rumor out there of a Mr. Kyle Tucker potentially being a trade possibility if Houston isn't able to extend him. Would you part with it? This is for everybody. Would you part with a couple of those top end prospects to lock up your outfield with Kyle Tucker, Rojas, and Marsh for the foreseeable future? Because if you're trading for him, you're obviously going to look to extend him, Tucker wise, right?
Where's Nick coming?
Yeah,
I think Nick is either in the deal or gets shipped somewhere else to open up that spot. I think Nick's only got one maybe 2 years left on his deal anyway.
Yep.
Right. So
he's got 1 year after this year.
Yeah. But I don't know that I'd let Nick being under contract obviously stop me from getting Kyle Tucker.
I mean, is he more consistent than you think? He could be more consistent than Castellanos? Like
100%.
Then I'd be 100% in favor of that.
Everybody's hot and cold in this league. But
but Nick is especially high and cold.
Yeah, Kyle Tucker's a top 3-4 right fielder in baseball.
Oh, I'm not doubting.
No, not you. I'm talking to Pete.
Yeah, I mean Kyle Tucker absolutely can play, but I'm just, you got something good here.
I agree.
Right? You guys all brought up. Oh, you did, Greg.
You gotta be certain it's gonna work.
You came into the whole thing's a love affair around here. Right? That's been the topic of conversation for 41 minutes. We got the biggest love affair in history. We got the red eye home and we walked into something special. Right? That's what we got. Right? So I mean,
all we got is all we need.
I don't know.
I also think when you talk about winning it, the thing that no one's brought up yet, they almost, maybe not almost, but they paid and offered money to get Yamamoto too. So this is them pretty much telling everybody, like going back, tying this into Bryce Harper, like we have the guy who's selling jerseys. We have the guy who every baseball, anyone who watches sports in America knows this guy and knows that he shows up in these moments. This is right now, like we need to make these moves because we have that guy. So, going back to the conversation earlier with the poll, like I feel like you have to give him that money because you're not even going out to sign these secondary guys like a Trey Turner or even a Kyle Schwarber if Bryce Harper doesn't exist, or even if Bryce Harper's not happy. But taking away from the conversation of the contract, like you have this guy now that it feels like all sports and all Philadelphia sports, our main guy is hated across the entire country. This guy is beloved by everyone at every age because everyone just is inspired by the way he plays baseball, which is rare in today's day in general. Like we need to appreciate that. I really, really appreciate that.
I love having a player in the organization here. Obviously, that is that kind of star, right? You always want that kind of star. He's not hated. He's not loved all over, but he's loved enough. There's enough like national respect.
I think people do love him all over. Or to your case, be like he's
Marietta, Georgia.
Like,
you feel like Marietta. You feel like Marietta, Georgia. A lot of cats down in Marietta, Georgia love them some Bryce Harper.
I think even those people know like he's that guy. And I'm not trying to.
They may know that. Yeah.
I'm not trying to play that guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to play that guy.
True. That's fact. Respected, right? That comes back to this. Like, I think he's nationally respected. It might not be like love affairs all over, and people still have their like hate hat on at times, right? But he's nationally respected for sure, and that feels good. We don't know a lot of that in Philly.
And those guys win. They win.
The national, respect the guys. Yeah, they do. They usually do.
How many dudes come into this league at 18 years old with the weight of the world on their shoulders, and they're worth it? Like every expectation you had about this guy turned out to be true. Like, who else was there? Like LeBron, like that type of prospect that came into the league, and all these expectations have been met. Like as good as you thought they would be, if not better. Like so few and far between.
Yeah, most who come in that young with all those expectations don't pan out nearly the way that Bryce did, obviously.
Well, it's not easy. It's not easy. You better, you better be pretty special and just talented, right? And the mental, you really have to be more mature mentally than probably given credit for it to be able to do what he's done. But his biggest thing he hasn't done is win a world championship.
That's all he needs, man.
So I think that's what he's been hunting for here too. And I think he felt like Philly was a place that wanted to spend money. It was a great baseball city. And this place will be jam-packed. If you build it, they will come. And I feel like he could work well with ownership to be able to have the say in what they do and don't do. Or players that he really likes. Players that he believes are great teammates, whatever the case is. Because that's what they've won with. They've won with that core group of guys loves each other. So,
I mean, you look at this team, especially when you look defensively. I mean, there's a chance to have, at minimum 4 potential Gold Glove finalists, right? When you talk about obviously JT in the back, you talk Stotty at second, and then you talk Rojas and Marsh in left and center. You have a minimum 4, and then that's not discrediting the improvement that Alec Bohm has made over at third. You expect a better defensive year from Trey Turner. And Bryce is going to work at first base. I think he could be really good at first base. He's athletic enough. He caught, right? I think, his youth bring up being a catcher, I think is going to really benefit him, like picking and short hops and stuff like that, which is one of those lost arts of playing first base. So he potentially could end up being a Gold Glove caliber first baseman defensively. So when you talk about what this team has for this year, we obviously know they're going to hit the baseball.
Yep.
And what kind of failed them last year was the pitching and defense. And I think the defense is really, really improved over last year with not even changing many pieces. It's just people continuing to grow and get better.
I think one of the biggest ones is just having Rojas.
Yeah, definitely. He can definitely go get it out in center.
Yeah, game's not played one way, right? We'll talk about today too. Like game's not played one way. I think we get caught up as in fans and young athletes that play baseball that it's played one way. Game's played 2 ways. You could be great at something and keep a job. You're great at one of the 2, you probably got a job.
Yeah.
So to Noah's point, he's probably got a job. And if the bat is just good enough, and then people I can say what he was saying. If the bat's just good enough, that's all we need. It's gotta be good enough. I gotta pee. So before I go pee, let's talk about Harper makes a spring training debut. And and obviously I think JT, right? That was JT's first game.
Bomer. Yeah.
And Bomer. So JT Bomer bombs away. I didn't see Harper's at bats or the great play in the field because I was obviously driving at the time. But it sounded like he made a nice dive and play.
Yeah, he sure did. And that was full extension to his right.
It's always fun, right? Like first game in.
Yeah, welcome to the season, right? Like,
yeah, nice. I mean, that's not a bad thing. To Greg's point, like it's a team that you hope it is a team that wasn't talked about how good they are defensively, but can be. When seasons end, they're like, hey, why'd the Phillies win 100 games? How'd they do that? Oh, they were just like elite defensively. Not saying they were going to win 100 games, but you guys got where I was going with that.
Right. No, definitely. Yeah. I think Rob Thompson and company, they're definitely making a much bigger emphasis on play in the field. And they're constantly hammering that home to these guys. And I think they're receiving the message.
Oh, yeah. I think like a big part of defense this year is obviously like there's no way Trey Turner is going to be as awful in the field as he was last year. Like having Schwarber not be out there to start your season in center is huge. Having a combination of Rojas and Pache to where you can use them any way you want in the outfield is huge.
Sorry,
He was
just threw up
top.
my mouth.
Rojas was top 10 in defensive runs saved last year, or defensive runs last year, and he barely played. Like that tells you all you need to know. Like,
are you really going to trigger me right now? Did you
To
really
me?
just bring up? Yeah, did you really just bring up Christian Pache?
I'm not
Really?
I'm
Are you
not
really
saying
trying
he's
to
the
trigger
same.
me right now?
Sure, I'm all for
You're
it.
one of those. You're one of those Christian Pache guys, aren't you?
No, I like him. I don't love him. I think
he's got
solid.
5 tools. Oh, he can go get the baseball.
Well, I mean,
No, I
there's
hear
nothing
you.
wrong with having
I
5
think-
tools. I like 5 tool players.
Yeah, he doesn't have them.
That's not true. He's got like 1 or
missing the
2.
biggest one. He's missing the biggest one. The hit tool.
No,
No,
but
if you can't stick in Atlanta and then you go to the dreck called Oakland,
And maybe this is just where he needed it.
I
Sometimes
think
it works
I
out that
think
way.
in those, to your point though, I'm being funny, but I hate those Christian Pache defenders online. But I think in small doses, I agree with your premise though. Being able to throw him in there late games, or even to give Marshy a day off or Rojas a day off, right? I think his ability to get the baseball, though, kind of what Tommy said a little minute ago. If you can do one thing, you're going to stick around this league, and that's probably the only reason why he's still on a major league roster is because he can definitely play defense for sure.
Oh yeah, that's probably the only reason he's on this team, because it sure as heck isn't for hitting. But like I see people bringing up with Rojas a lot. They're like, "Whoa, he can't hit. He's not going to start. He's going to start in the minors." And I've been saying it on the forum all week long. If he hits 220 in spring, he's your starting center fielder. It doesn't matter. I don't need him to be 260, 280. Like, I'm cool. He can hit 220 to 240 for me, because him hitting a little bit is fine. His glove is worth everything else. Like, he's not going to hit or anything like that.
Yeah.
As long as he has a decent eye, I'm okay if he hits 230 or 240. If he has a decent eye at the plate and is drawing a few walks and can use his speed on the bases.
Right, that's the other thing. Huge threat on base too. Huge.
He's got speed.
Well, I mean, I'm drawing a blank here. If Marsh is playing right or left?
Left.
All right, he'll play left. Rojas will play center. Who's playing right? Oh, Castellanos.
Castellanos.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. All right.
The guy we're trading for.
Right.
We'll mark that down.
Right. Castellanos will play right until July, and then and Tucker will be here.
To be determined column.
Right.
Yeah. No. When I saw that rumor, I was almost kind of blown away.
Well, this is where
would let him go.
As much as I hate the DH, this is where the DH really helps us, because you can
love the DH.
You can keep a guy like Schwarber. You can keep his bat in the lineup and not be forced to put him out in left field where he doesn't belong.
Look, man, not everyone gets to hit like Zach Wheeler, okay?
Well, and not only this year, Noah, but the DH has helped us the last 2 years.
I'll admit it. It definitely has. I mean, I'm more of an old guy, but
100%.
I'm more of an
also don't make the World Series.
Baseball's changing. What can I say?
Of all the rules, I don't mind that one.
I'm sorry, Pete.
I feel like a lot of these teams are starting to get like heavy in the outfield. I mean, even the Yankees. I mean, I feel like I keep up with them decent amount. They did not need an outfielder, and they went out and got 2 of them.
They got
They're not a very smart club, so it's okay.
Yeah, and so then you just kind of waste your need, which is pitching, and it's so glaring and it's so obvious. And then you even have a guy who in-house, the only guy that's really looked good for you in Wendy, you let him go too. Like, they don't have anybody in there at all. I just like how the Phillies kind of treat their needs. I feel like every time they've gone into an offseason, they've really hammered down on that need every single time. And that's why you have back-to-back really good years. I mean, obviously upsetting, but That's why you do that.
It's okay. We're gonna steal Soto from the Yankees. It's all good.
Oh.
You imagine the Arizona fucking Diamondbacks. God damn.
Things happen the way they have to happen, sadly.
Yeah. Think, it's just fucking crazy. Then again, I'm still the asshole that's not over the 2002 season, the Eagles season, where January of 03, the 2002 conference championship game.
You and about 100 million other people.
Yeah. Fucking Rondé Barber running down the sideline. I was at that game, last game at the Vet on the 700 level. Oh, man.
He's still running in the end zone. I was there too.
Yeah.
He's still running at me in the end zone.
Yeah, you're about my age, aren't you, Greg?
42. Yeah, 42.
Oh shit. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh, all right. Oh.
I don't know if that was a good oh shit or a bad oh shit. Like,
No,
damn, you're old.
No, I figured you were a couple years younger than me. I figured you were about my. No, I'm only 40, but
there you go.
That's
I'm 40.
All right, Mike Gundy.
Oh, I love that rant. That's one of my favorite rants.
What have you done at Oklahoma State besides nothing?
I mean, it is Oklahoma State, but
with the coaching carousel every year, how the hell does that guy still have a job in Stillwater?
Not sure.
Seems like he's just mediocre year in and year out. I don't know. But
so who is, if you had to pick one guy, who's your, I don't want to go breakout, right? Yeah, let's go breakout star. X Factor. Who's your X Factor this year? Let's start with you, if you have it.
I do. I think it's Johan Rojas, and I know it might surprise some people, but if he can hit, like even just decent, and you can have that glove, that Gold Glove type player in the outfield, it's going to help you so much. It's going to save you so many runs.
Yeah, he might save you a run every night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one might save you 3 or 4.
Yeah, every night. I mean, every night. Yeah. I mean, he can, at least as far as defensive play in the outfield goes, defensively, he's a special player, in my opinion.
Probably be your best outfielder since Bobby Abreu.
Underrated outfielder. Underrated.
Well, didn't we have this similar?
Go ahead, Noah. Go ahead.
What? Didn't I think I went with Christopher Sanchez? He's gonna win 17 games.
Well, that was bold predict. Yeah, but okay, yeah.
Bold predictions.
I would double down on the Christopher Sanchez if you got him winning 17 games, 27 games.
I'll tell you what, I think he's going to be a bit of an X factor. I think he'll have a good year. I really do. I mean,
What's a good year to you?
I mean, I'm not saying he's going to have an ERA under 2 for God's sakes, but I think his ERA will be around 3.5. I really do.
It was last year.
And I mean, I don't know if it with this offense, I mean, if his ERA is around 3.5, 3.5, he could very well win 15 or more games. I mean, just because this lineup is going to give the starting pitcher a chance to do that. I mean, when we're raking, we can put a crooked number up real in a hurry. I mean, there'll be some nights where if our starters struggle a little bit, they go 6 innings or whatever and give up 4 runs. Well, there's a good chance we're going to score 6 or 7 runs in that game.
I mean, you're already off to a better start than last year when you actually have your starting 4 and 5 pitcher on the roster as of right now, as opposed to last year where it was just like, all right, let's get some glue and we'll figure out what happens.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I think we're in an excellent spot. There's no excuses for this team.
Nope.
I mean, and what I think the biggest thing, I know it's obvious, but they gotta get off to a fast start. I mean, no more. I don't want to be sitting in May again or whatever. around Memorial Day weekend and we're floating around 500 or we're 5 games under or some bullshit like that. I mean, they got to get off to a fast start.
Why are you setting yourself up for something that you know is not going to happen?
What?
Yeah.
We know this team traditionally does not get off to a fast start.
I know that, but eventually that's going to bite us in the ass. I mean, it's important that they
you listen. I'm not asking
ring the bell early.
I'm not asking you to be like 20-2, coming out the gate. But like,
just over 500 the first 50 games. I'd be okay with that. That would make me happy.
Exactly.
I would love, I would feel good to me to be 10 games over 500, 50 games in. Like that, I would be like, this is new territory.
Yeah.
This is what it's like. Like, and there's no reason that just because you do that through the season that you can't continue it into the postseason. We've done a good job of turning it on late. Obviously, you'd rather be playing your best baseball at the end, but you also don't want to be playing downright, shit baseball at the beginning of the year either. There's a fine line here. All the dry dogs are going to tell you can't lose the division then. Yes, you can. We've witnessed it. We've won an NLCS, but we haven't won a division. So let's be clear. Let's be clear here.
Division a lot recently.
Yeah, ask the Braves and Dodgers how it helped them last year to win their divisions. Shit.
Doesn't really help.
Luke, who you got?
Yeah, I might be the guy. I was going to bring up Rojas, but I guess I'll be this guy. I feel like I'm going to go with Trey Turner just because of how good he actually really is. And I feel like people kind of gloss that over. And I think a lot right now, it's Bryce Harper getting all this heat right now. And, later on.
Trey Turner MVP season.
Yeah. And, later on, we're going to get around to the time where Castellanos is going to be flirted around to be traded and certain guys will be flirted around to be traded. I think there was a spotlight put on him last year that maybe he was surprised by, or maybe he just had a casual cold moment and the spotlight was on him and he's never been in that spot before. I think he's going into this season not with nothing to lose, but there's no big spotlight on him. It feels like everyone's just forgotten about him. And I like that from the perspective of he's not going to be worse than last year, the start of last year. And I think that's a huge plus. I think the team is going to get better than they were last year in the beginning because I don't expect him to be that bad. He's really, really good. Really good when he plays at his best. So that's my X factor because I think that they're basically getting a new player that's been on the team this whole time.
Were we talking X factors?
Yeah, just X factor, just one guy. And Luke, I think you're spot on. And that year of being here, knowing what to expect, I think is going to be immense for him.
MVP season.
He could play big time baseball too. I mean, you saw him in the World Baseball Classic. I feel like a lot of eyes on that. He was the best player we had.
He was key for that Nationals run, right? Him and Soto were cogs for that national run.
Yep.
And obviously the Dodgers brought him over to be that guy for them. They just thankfully have a manager that just can't win, which is amazing.
My X factor, well, one's Alec Bohm because I think I told you last week. I think he'd be top 10 MVP votes at the end of the year. I think he could have a monster year. But I'll go somewhere different this week. I'll go with JT. I'll look him right in the face and say I need a a monster year out of you. For the catcher position, right, and for himself. What a monster year is for him. Like I could use a 290. I could use I could use 30 homers, right? I could use 25, 30 in that range. You know what I mean? And I could just use the production, just being on base. Right? That's all. Like I can use he's a big X factor for us because he hasn't had like a monster year yet. He's had really good one. He's had good ones, right? We know how good he is, but I think his a little bit more, his consistency a little bit more could be big for us too.
He's had moments of best catcher in baseball, but he hasn't had years of best catcher in baseball in a minute or two, right? He's had his moments where he gets scorching hot and, you can't get him out. But no, I'm with you, Tommy. I like that. I like that a lot. I'm going to go with I want to go Orion Kirkering.
Interesting.
I think the organization really trusts him, and I think even if he doesn't start the year with the team, I think he's going to find a similar role towards the end of the year like he did in the playoffs. But obviously, he's going to have that playoff run with him as experience, right? It's not going to be my literally first cup of tea in the bigs is in the middle of world's postseason baseball. I think
did you say if he doesn't make the team?
Yeah, I just think they might start him in the minors just to control him. You know what I mean? I don't know that for certain. I'm just guessing is the way the Phillies work, right? You know what I mean? I think he should make the team.
I thought we were different.
I agree with you. But he's also, like I said, we all know his first touch of the bigs was last year. They just don't know if they want to kind of level set, right, and start him slow. But
but start him slow. They start him in the goddamn NLCS, Greg. Are you out of your mind? Like, why would you even bring that up? It's like what are you Googling sometimes? What's coming across your feed? What's happening over there? Why would you?
The waiting goes out the window when you're playing him in like big time moments like the divisional series and the NLCS. Like once you do that,
they do it all the time.
Off, okay, the training wheels are gone.
They very well might do it with Rojas. They do it all the time. They very well might do it with Rojas. To be flat out honest with you,
no way.
Yeah, I don't.
If he doesn't hit,
I don't think they're doing this, Greg.
I hope not.
Well, I hope not. I just
he would Rojas would need to be.
Kirkering just came up. Kirkering just came up and pitched in like some big ass spots for you.
He sure did.
And we're gonna like not you. I'm not attacking you. I'm saying we're gonna talk like he's not gonna be on the team this year. Like that doesn't even make sense. This is a different round organization, Greg. This ain't your daddy's Phillies. You know what I mean? This ain't those Phillies anymore, babe. We just had a whole hour and some change spent on Harper changed it. So let him change it for you, Greggy.
Let's do it.
Greggy 3.
I like the X Factor call out though. I do like him as an X Factor though, for sure.
Now I forget what you said because Ori. Yeah. I like that though. I think he's a big but in your brain, how's your brain work? He's my X Factor if he makes a team. After he was just up.
Even if he doesn't start, he's going to be up at some point, right? Injuries happen in baseball, especially into the bullpen, right? You go through 30 different bullpen guys, even if they're not even injured, right? You call this guy up for a week, you know what I'm saying? So he's going to be up. I'm just giving the plausible factor that he could start the year in the minors just to control him and get him situated pitch-wise.
I hear you. I mean, I don't, but I do.
Usually the way it works.
I mean, I heard what you said. It was very clear.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Man, ain't nobody understand the words that are coming out of your mouth.
Pretty much.
Best movie.
Good movie.
All right, where were you guys at?
That was it.
Everybody talk about it?
Yeah, we all went.
Who'd you take, Noah?
Christopher Sanchez.
Remember, he's going to win 17 games.
Yeah, come on.
And Luke took Trey, which is a great pick. And PY, who'd you take?
Rojas,
that's right. Okay. Rojas. Good picks. Honorable mention, Bryson Stott.
I wanted to go Stotty. Yeah.
Yeah, honorable mention, Brandon Marsh could be a big X factor.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's some guys who could have really good years. So, exciting stuff. That's good stuff. That's a good conversation.
Yeah.
I think the daycare trio is going to really carry us this year.
Oh, yeah.
They're
going to take that next step.
And by carry, I just mean take that next step, right? You know what I mean? Because obviously you pay a lot of guys to be carriers, right? But they're going to take that next step.
As much as Tom believes that Bohm could be an MVP factor this year, I think it's Stott over ahead of him.
That's interesting.
I think Stott could take that next level, and he could be in that MVP conversation. Like he's just so good.
Not crazy. Come on, nobody's gonna call you crazy. Like, I mean, MVP, obviously we're talking is tough too, but he could be, right? If he's on base enough. There's a lot of factors that go into it. But I mean,
the only counter I'll have
good.
to that, Pete, is Ozzy Albies has had some really good years at second base, and he's never mentioned in the MVP candidacy. Right. And again, that's probably my only counter because I love the kid. Kid. I think the kid is awesome. I arguably would have left him at short and moved Trey to second when we signed Trey Turner. But so I'm with you. I love it.
Would you say that he's A-OK?
A-OK. That was a dad joke. That was a bad dad joke.
It was. I'm not even a dad. You should be proud of me.
I know. I was terrible. But I love it.
I hear it all the time, and I can't not help but sing along with that stupid song.
Tommy, you're muted, or you muted yourself while he unmutes himself.
Jonathan says, yeah, go ahead, Greg.
No, you say that funny video that DeAndre Swift and Terrell Edmonds had at the Phillies game, and they started by the end of the song, they were singing this song.
Oh, yeah. John says, Bohm will have 30-plus homers this year. I tend to agree with that. If he's in top 10
I'd be happy
MVP.
with 25.
Half this lineup could have 25 or more. I mean,
great. That'd be nice.
I mean, this is obviously a loaded roster. It's pretty nice when you were talking about X factors and MVP candidates, and I mean, you could half this roster. You got at least half this roster you have of guys who could either win an MVP or win a Gold Glove or you name it. Gonna be a lot of hardware won with this roster.
Improve this roster. That's the crazy part. It can always be better by deadline.
Yep.
Go get Kyle Tucker at the deadline.
What's the great thing about having money that you're willing to spend? I mean, trying to win.
That's for sure.
If you have a cheap owner, you're not getting anything done.
And not just like you can have an owner that spends money in a terrible head of baseball operations and fail miserably. So it takes the two to tango.
You got to have the right people in charge of things.
Yeah, you got Dave Dombrowski in charge of baseball operations.
He's done an outstanding job. Yeah, he's
not only here,
he's won everywhere he's gone.
Yeah,
because Middleton's been here a minute, but we just had McPhail and Quintac, and right. You know what I mean?
Dumb and Dumber?
Yeah.
John said over under 90 games. That's over for me.
It's over. Bang that over. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I think Vegas had 90. What did we say? 93.
2? Was it 2.5?
Something right in that range. Yeah.
I
think everybody went over.
92 and a hook piece. A little 92 and a hook. And that's what it was.
95 for me.
95. I mean, listen, it's doable. It's just aggressive.
Well, why not be aggressive?
I mean, no, we should be aggressive. We just play. We just play in a division with a team that's going to walk into 100. So it makes it tough for us to be able to walk into 100 too. That's all.
Yeah,
or 95. That's what makes it hard. Like, okay, they're going to win 100, and then we're going to win 95. Like, oh my god, let's go. I mean, I'm in. I would like to beat them out, and then really beat their daddies and beat them again in the playoffs. I would love that.
I mean, we are their daddies. Like, there's no and ifs or buts about this. We own them. Like,
we may own them, but we didn't win shit.
This is true. But
we just had some great moments here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've got great playoff moments here. We just haven't cut the nets down, but doesn't mean we won't. But yeah, we own them as of right now. You know how baseball works. I'm trying not to get too ahead of myself with that because they come and sweep us this year. You know, we saw bats. We saw the bats show up late in that series in Arizona. So we're going to sit here. I ain't going to sit here and puff my chest about the Braves right now. You know, I want to beat them both ways. I want to win the division, and then I want to go beat them in the postseason because they complain that sitting around. I get it. All right? But you can throw live to each other. There's a lot of things you can do. So to sit around and nothing to do with it, to be on time, and I get it. I get it as a player. You want to keep playing, right? You want to stay in your groove. But it's not the reason why we've owned you. So I want to sit for a couple of days, let them play, and then hey, you know what I mean, and roll their asses. That's what I'm looking for.
How'd that work out for you, Atlanta?
Jonathan says 98 wins. Ooh. And this team is capable of doing it.
Talk dirty to me, Jonathan. Baby, let's go.
So many
It's
things
very good.
to break right.
I don't think so many things have to break right. I just think offensively, you got to be healthy. Like your best players just have to be healthy. Like forget all the rest. Your best players have to stay healthy. That's the hardest part of winning.
You can't have these injury issues like last year.
No, and you can't have any more Harper missed time. You can't have any of the other stuff, and we need our arms to be healthy. That's always key one to winning is what is your arms? Yep. You know, the offense is something you need, but it starts with if we have a bunch of freaking jabrones on the mound and we get hit all around, like we're not winning anything anyway. Mm-hmm. So we gotta hope it's happen that Aaron Nola gives you another 200 innings, right? You got to hope that Zach Wheeler can not be shut down, maybe get him on 6 days like we were doing last year. I think that really worked. I think we learned something from that. So why not continue that? That's why if I got Jordan Montgomery, I'll just put guys on longer rest all year long. I would just start from April on, or whoever we got, hypothetically. April on, hey, we're going 6-man rotation. You throw every 5th day. Or 6th day, sorry.
I think that was a big problem to start last year, and probably why we started off so slow. It's like obviously your first 3 pitchers, they weren't pitching to the best of their abilities, but also your 4, 5, and even 6 guy just didn't even deserve to be in the league. Like Sanchez was hurt, Ranger was hurt. You're doing bullpen games for a majority of the first half of the season, which did not help you in any way, shape, or form.
See you, Eileen. You have a great night too.
See you, Eileen.
Real quick.
103, I think, Don.
The Dodgers win total, right?
Because I think, when I looked last, I think
under.
Everybody, like the highest win total possible of anybody was 106. And that was just a generic. Then, no team was attached to that. They just said most wins in baseball, 106. Yeah,
real quick for the swoop, man. Right? Swoopy. Let me help you with this one real quick because you're talking about the Phillies and losing games in the 8th inning and on this year. And I'm going to disagree with you because I actually think what I do think is that this pitching staff and this rotation back end of the bullpen. Sorry, I'm looking at something and trying to talk at the same time, which I never do. But this back end of the bullpen is better than I think we're giving it credit for. Oh, yeah. Even though one of Greg's guys is starting the season in the minors. Absolutely. But besides that, guys, we're looking like we're pretty good. Now that all depends on health, right? I mean, that's 101. If the bullpen's healthy. But don't tell me, Swoopy, that like Alvarado, if he's throwing strikes, don't tell me if our boy Sir Anthony and he's throwing strikes and he's healthy. Right, that those guys aren't closer types. And you just saw Orion pitching huge spots last year. So it's not like there isn't anybody.
And they all throw gas, Tommy.
That's the thing. You got a bunch of you got Hoffman back. Hoffman had a good year last year, right? Okay. Yeah. You have Gregory. And I left Gregory Soto's another former closer. You have 3 guys who have closed games back there. How many guys do you need, Swoop? I love it. How many guys do you need? Who I would love to do from the Indians or Guardians. Sorry, canceled. I would love to do from the Guardians, but that's not if it happens, awesome, right? I'm in. But until then, I feel good until I shouldn't feel good. I'm not telling you it's the best bullpen in baseball. I'm not telling you any of that. I'm just telling you it's good. It's good, and if it's good, you can win a lot of games. It's got to be good. can't be blowing games. You can't be not throwing strikes. Right? Come on. Don't tell me it's not good enough. I watch Alvarado in big spots. I watch Jordan Alvarez hit when it hasn't landed, but I've also watched Alvarado in other big spots and be electric, right?
Yeah.
I've watched Sir Anthony be electric 2 postseasons before. Really be electric for her. So I know he can. Soto, the jury's out, right? The jury's out, but he's a hard-throwing lefty, and it's always nice to have bullets. Can you throw enough strikes? And that becomes on the pitching coach to be able to help guys. And you know, I mean, you're talking about helping big leaguers, right? But help guys, you know, fixing their mechanics sooner rather than later. Like I feel like last year, guys weren't fixing their mechanics early on. But either way, I think it's good.
Well, what helps is they don't have to rely on one closer either.
Yep.
I mean, I don't mind the closer by committee, and I think you have guys back there who are they're not selfish, and I think they're willing if they need them in a high leverage situation in the 6th or 7th inning, they're willing to go out there and get it done, you know, just as they would in the 8th or 9th. So, and I think that really helps. And with all the firepower we have in that bullpen, I mean, if needed, you can go to them in the 6th inning and not run out of guys and just keep mowing them down. And I don't know. I don't think the bullpen is as much of a concern as some may think.
No,
I think we're pretty set there.
Matt Strahm threw well last year. It's another lefty. I mean, okay, everybody had some question marks, but I mean, this bullpen's solid. That's all. I'm just saying it's solid. I'm not telling you it's the best ever. And bullpen by committee, if they have a guy they decide to be the guy, it doesn't matter to me. Like either one works. But like, you know, Sweep said too, like, Kimbrel wasn't that great. He was good in the he was good in the regular season, but he wasn't great. But I think we'll see who wins jobs in spring training too, right? There's going to be guys who win jobs that we're not even talking about. But if this rotation's healthy, it makes you so deep. Now the question becomes, as we wrap up here, that's 8 minutes, right? The question becomes, you know, what do they do? You know, are they looking to do what I talked about? Are you guys looking to do that? You're looking to add another starter and just extend guys, man. They don't have to like it, but I'm thinking long term too. Like if I have 6 guys who are starters, then run it out there, man. Make guys healthier. I'm not being the soft generation. I'm just saying, like, I need a healthy Wheeler come postseason, and what we've witnessed is that he's healthier when he gets a little breather, especially late in the year, right? But now, why not just start that now? These guys that pitched long, right? When you look at these guys, they pitched long years. And I'm not saying you baby them. You're not like shutting them down until May, right? You're just extending them a day. You're just giving them that one extra day. And I think that one extra day is important to the body and the arm as you continue through it. By the time you get to June, now listen, you can make a switch in June. It could not be working for you. You could be playing bad baseball, right? You still have time to switch it, though. So you can switch and go back to 5 in June. But on paper, if you signed that, I'll just use Snell or Montgomery or any of the likes of that, if you sign one of those types of guys, do you tell me that's not a good – you want to run that as a 6-man rotation? Okay, maybe not. Maybe put Sanchez in the bullpen, right? But is that worth it when you can extend your starters and let them breathe? And then you also want to be able to not overthrow guys like Sir Anthony early, right? Like it's you got like a fine line with arms. Arms are tricky, especially arms that have had little issues or big issues, right? They're tricky.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge proponent especially for this team. Not normally, right? But this team with the 2 long postseasons we've had, we were talking about it last year heading into this year because we knew, right? You look back at 2008, 2009 with Cole Hamels, right? He struggled so much to start 2009 because of the length of the season, right? So yes, I 100% find a way to, especially if you add a guy, right? I think if you add a guy, it's almost a no-brainer. But then again, we talked about it. You know, we talked about this last year, and they obviously didn't do it. But when they did do it, they found success.
No, they did, right? They did. You could see, right, guys? Everybody saw it. Wheeler had a little more juice both years.
I'd be all for a 6-man rotation. You know,
Oh, yeah. Big time.
truthfully, for some of these starters, they may be able to go deeper into games then when they take the mound. You know,
I mean, that's why they went out and got Lorenzen.
Instead of worrying about, well, can we get them through 6? Well, you may be able to get them through the 7th or 8th. You know.
All right, I'll ask you guys this question again
Give
too.
them an extra day of rest.
You want another question? A little questionnaire.
Fire away.
Fill out the form. The other one really wasn't a question, right? This is more of a question. You know, does this team go back to the World Series this year? Are they good enough to you guys as constructed? I don't know. Not everybody's answered that on this show per se. I know we sort of talked about it in passing prior, and we're going to do it again for 5 minutes. But what do you guys say? Is this team good enough as constructed? Luke, start with you, and we'll circle the board.
100%. It's baseball. I mean, you've seen even teams we felt like the Braves were better than the Phillies the last 2 years going into that series, and they win. So I don't care about, you know, how much money the Dodgers spent this offseason. At the end of the day, as a Phillies fan, the mindset is to win the World Series, and if they don't, you're going to leave disappointed regardless. You're tired of losing, you know, 2 rounds short. You're tired of losing, you know, in the World Series. At some point, you got to bring it home. So 100%, I think they're good enough. And the main thing, again, I'll bring it back, like getting Trey Turner back to himself is such an asset to them. And the other thing that people forget, I feel like, is that he batted towards the end of the lineup. Like that, like if you can get him to help out Bryce Harper and really bat, you know, at a high level at that 2 spot, that is huge for Bryce Harper. That's huge for guys that bat around him. Like that is a massive, massive deal. And I think getting a guy like that, to me, is just as impactful as the Dodgers bringing in a $300 man, because Trey Turner this season could be worth $300 million. That is a huge deal if he turns into that. Massive. So 100%, I think they should win it. Yes.
Oh, you're going to win it. Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Definitely.
I think so. I mean, we spent the last hour and a half like going over, you know, we'll go to last hour, right? Yeah, I do. I think we have the defense.
Win it?
Yeah.
Win it or go?
Why not? No, I think both.
Okay. Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think what's improved, and as we talked about, what's improved over last year is our bullpen depth, as much as Swope doesn't like it, right? Our bullpen depth is improved, and our defense is improved, or should be improved, right? And then the other elephant in the room is Bryce Harper's healthy heading into a year. Fully healthy, no restrictions. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to DH this year. Fully healthy, no restrictions. We get Bryce Harper for a full year.
Yeah, that'd be clutch. PY?
Yeah, like I if everything goes the way I expect it to, I do think we can win the World Series this year. We're going to be better defensively. You have one of the best pitching staffs in baseball. You have one of the best offensive group of guys in baseball. If you're young, you have young core guys who can develop, who should be all turning heads this year. In your Marsh, your Stott, and your Alec Bohm, like 100%, you have all the tools needed to win the World Series. And obviously, like Luke said, like Trey Turner, getting back to who Trey Turner is, and also having Bryce Harper being healthy for the first time in forever, is all the things needed to help you win a World Series. It's definitely within reach.
And real quick, what Luke said is the same thing that I talked about with Nicky last year, was that this year was going to be a little bit more relaxing for him. And it was. He made an all-star team, right? Yeah. It was relaxing for him. And I think you're going to get that on a little bit of steroids, no pun intended, with Trey Turner, right? And that's what I think. I think you get like these guys have talked about, an MVP caliber player that you weren't, like, not that you weren't expecting, but to those guys and say, you're finally getting. No, what do you say? And I don't know why I call you P. I've never called you PY. I don't know why I'm doing that. You know what I mean? I just call myself.
You're getting in your Chuck's bag.
Yeah, I don't want to be dancing with Chucks. You know what I mean?
I mean, to be fair, no one can keep up with his dancing shoes.
Oh God.
No, I guess.
Noah.
I guess.
Yeah. Tommy, for as long as I've known you, you've always said this: you got to be strong up the middle to win, right? Well, I'll tell you what, we're really strong up the middle. I think both at bat and definitely out in the field. What I do want to see, though, I know you were saying, remarking about JT Realmuto. Offensively, we'd like to see a little more consistency. Yes, he has had some good years, not great years, but I think he tailed off a little bit defensively, and I'd like to see that. I'd like to see him get back to the catcher he was defensively. I think he'll do that this year, and I think defensively we're a much better ball club, and I think that is going to be one of the sticking points, one of the main reasons why we not only get back to the World Series, but win it. And I really believe that. I think this baseball team we're one of the best teams in baseball, and there is no reason to think that there won't be a parade as long as we stay healthy in November. I truly believe that, guys.
That'd be great. And I know you so well that you're tapping the table every time you talk.
I know, right?
I've watched you
I'm
for
ready.
years.
I'm ready.
I've watched you for years in studio, in person. I heard you. I knew it. I knew it.
Let's go. I'm ready, guys. Let's do this. And it's going to be a fun summer at the bank. It's going to be sold out every freaking night. But let's get it done.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think they are as constructed good enough to go, right? Like I ain't scared of no ghost. Like I ain't scared of Dave Roberts. Like you want to tell me if I'm scared? If you want to tell me if I'm scared about what they're rolling out there, absolutely. I'm not an idiot, right? But I'm also not scared of the manager. Not saying you're scared of mine, but I've watched that manager blow a lot of stuff. I've also watched ours last year blow a game. But guess what? I mean, Dave Roberts has done a lot more, in my opinion. We've witnessed it a lot more. So they have their own hump to get over, but also I'm not scared of them. And I think if you're a team in the NL and you look around and you say to your damn self and you look in a mirror and you say, who do I not want to see in the postseason if they get there? Who do I not want to see? And I'm pretty sure if you did a anonymous poll on anonymous poll on it, that you're going to get back a percentage of like, a lot of people don't want to see the Phillies.
Nope.
So, it's about getting there. First and foremost, and I do think obviously they're good enough to get there. A lot of good teams in the NL, though, right? Like,
yeah, we got the arms, we got the bat, we got the gloves. Tommy, let's go.
No, I think we do. I mean, you nailed it. We're elite up the middle, not only defensively. The bats up the middle are good, catcher on, and we'll see what we get from Rojas. But I'm not even worried about him offensively as much because I think again, leave it at this. I think we get a big year from Brandon Marsh too. Not big year, but a good year, a really good year. Really good year for Brandon Marsh. I think this team, because it's how deep it is, right? Like the lineup, it allows guys to, you know what I'm saying? It allows, it relaxes a lot of players. You don't have as much pressure on you. All right, before we get out, we brought it up, so we'll do it for a couple minutes at 1:35. We'll end. So it's, Tobias Harris. Will you get any step up, or is this what we're getting?
No, he sucks.
Good answer.
You want to hope for something, right? You want to hope, but every time that we hope and we wish for him to step up in that superstar role that he needs to do it, he never does. He just doesn't.
I mean, I'll be the guy real quick. I don't think he is that superstar guy, and I think it's unfair for him to be that superstar guy. I'm putting all this blame, and it's easy because Tobias is the guy who has to play every night and get exposed and be like the main guy who gets exposed for the product that's put out there. I'm looking at Daryl Morey. Honestly, a disgraceful deadline on so many levels. And we talked about it. You can go back to the Wednesday night before the trade deadline. We all said it. It was no secret to anyone who watched them play 2 minutes this year. They needed a point guard. And at every level that Tobias Harris has stepped up, and we've all said he's been our most successful player in the playoffs, the one thing he's had is a point guard. That's the one thing he's had. That's the one thing Maxey's had, and we all love him, but we know he's not a point guard. And what they did is bank on a guy who's 37 years old and got hurt within those first 2 minutes stepping on the court for us. And just, it's a disgrace what they did this offseason. And I don't know what to believe because you trade a guy like Springer to your rival. You trade a guy like Pat Bev to your rival. to get like for second round picks, and you're also telling me Embiid's going to be back. They're playing both sides of it right now. And you want to talk about Tobias Harris? Is he great? Absolutely not. Do I rethink about paying him this summer? Sure. There's
no question. You're not paying him nothing.
It is a breakdown in that front office. What happened that Thursday? That was a breakdown. I don't know what happened. How do you not see that you need a point guard?
No. I mean, they got a point guard. They got two of them actually.
I don't see him. Who are they?
Campaign's a point guard.
He's a scorer. He's not. They need somebody who's going to run sets for them. Because we got
to factor something in. Well, you got to factor something in. These guys all just got around each other too. Like this all happened while losing the MVP. So that's going to be some chaos, right? There's going to be some chaos.
I don't think it's on these players. I think they do not have in the NBA. You need somebody who's going to generate offense with the ball in their hands. I love Maxey, and we talked about it that week. He's not a point guard. It's unfair for him to be one in the middle of the season, but he's not one, and they didn't go out and get one. I don't understand. What do they expect to happen? Buddy Hield's not a point guard. He's a good player. Batum's not a point guard. He's a good player. These are good guys, good players.
Yeah, but the move's not for right now. You know that.
So then why trade for Buddy Hield then?
Well, the move's for March. The move's for mid-March.
So why get guys in your own conference better when you're
why didn't you get better? You're not better with Buddy Hield with Joel Embiid?
But my thing, okay, you got Buddy Hield. They did that, and then they went on to do those two moves. Why? I don't.
Well, they went and got a backup point guard, and they
already had, which they really already had.
They got two essentially, and they got some of their second round picks that they had a deal to get Buddy Hield. That was their thinking. They were on the phone. They had a deal worked out for Drummond. That fell through last minute, so that's not ideal.
That can't happen. Like that, I agree with you. That did happen, but that can't happen.
No, you're right.
Not happen.
That I'll agree with you on. If you want to talk about not adding a proper big, then I'm right with you, right? But if you want to talk to me about not getting better, I can't buy into that yet. Like that's unanswered. It's only answered when Joel Embiid's on the court. If I got better at the deadline, because we haven't seen him in the spacing with Buddy, etc. And this team also just needs to play together a little bit too. That's also the other side. It's not an excuse, right? They get that chemistry and they get the proper ball movement. Like I don't know. That's not making excuses. They got to play better.
I don't know how you don't call Portland and ask about a guy like Malcolm Brogdon, who is on a really bad team and on a 1-year deal.
Well, how do we know they didn't?
I feel like all that stuff eventually does come out. And if anything, it showed you how he didn't care to bring in a point guard because all he did was get rid of him. Campaign, if you go on a stat sheet, they'll tell you he's a point guard. All the stuff I've seen him in now is catch and shoot open threes. He's not playing point guard. Like, he might be bringing up the ball, but he's not the reason Tyrese Maxey is going to get an open look. Like, he's not. They need somebody.
Who on the roster was getting them that look?
That they needed to bring that guy in. But Embiid was that guy. He was unintentionally the point guard of the team. By having him with the ball at the top of the key and the threat that he even is, you just automatically generated offense.
Well, you just answered your own question, right? In a way, because in reality, when the offense runs through him, right, and he's not here, and then you make deals, right now your offense is chaotic, and we've witnessed.
Yeah,
we've witnessed a chaotic offense.
Right, but what we said on that day was we need to tread water, and there was no move and the Buddy Hield thing. Buddy Hield, the one thing that Buddy Hield needs, a shooter like that who moves off the ball, is a guy who can pass him the ball at the high level. And they don't have that. They didn't even help him out. I don't understand a single move that they made. I don't get it.
No, I had no problem with the Morey disdain ever. I just don't hate the moves until I see Joel Embiid back. And then I can tell you, and then I can then I can be right with you. I'll be in that boat with you. Or I'm on another boat, right? I just can't answer it. I want to think that's elite. I want to think when you add Buddy Hield to a roster of Maxey, Embiid, and Harris, that you just got way better. way better just by default because of how you can stretch it. But we'll see. We'll see. See where it goes. You got Tobias Harris step up before we get out of here. No, I don't think so. I think he is what he is. But listen, we thank you all for tuning in with us tonight, like you do every Wednesday night. We apologize for starting 15 minutes behind tonight. That's how it goes when you're in a cage. You know what I mean? So, I mean, everybody else out there asks for Venmos. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'll start being like everybody else. I want to go here. Send me a Venmo or else create a GoFundMe page. So I don't have to do lessons. So I can just be with you guys every night. All right? We'll do that. But no, it was great talking Phillies. It was uplifting, right? It felt good. It felt cleansing. Oh, you got a good cleansing tonight. Just talking some positivity and previewing a little bit of a season and talking Harper. I mean, of course, Greg's an issue, and the way he starts to show with the poll question. He was trying to get me off of my game a little bit, and it may have worked. So, congratulations, Greg.
Yeah, that's how I roll.
All right, everybody. We appreciate it. Turn your alerts on. Hit the like, subscribe. Stay with us forever. We appreciate you tuning in. For Luke, Greg, Noah, Pete, I'm Tom. We out. See you next week.